for like one of very important nutrients is glutathione and nicotine. So insulin is a hormone that is also a peptide by definition, and it affects one electrolyte or one element needs the presence of another to be appropriately absorbed.
Hi everybody, and welcome to the Kidney Coach YouTube channel. I am naturopathic practitioner Fiona Chin, co-founder of the Kidney Coach, Kidney Disease Solution and Kaigenesis, which are our products. And I am joined today again by a very distinguished doctor, and that is Dr. Alex Grinberg. Alex, thank you again for joining us. So Dr. Grinberg is a very distinguished medical professional. He started his medical training when he was 16. So I call him a bit of a savant back in Moscow, and he completed 3 years of his PhD program in clinical immunology. He's got over 3 decades of experience in medicine. And I think what I really appreciate about Dr. Grinberg's knowledge is that he has got all of this amazing knowledge when it comes to the latest technologies coming out, biotech, and their advances in medicine, and then how to stack that along with things like longevity, peptide medicine, to really add to what Western medicine can offer us, and then really take that to the next level by really staying on the cutting edge. So he works in clinical practice, he works with patients. I'm sending him my very complicated cancer patients all the time because he's got such a good amount of knowledge around that, and all the, like I say, the latest technology that's coming out. So Dr. Grinberg, thank you again for joining us. I always appreciate your time, knowledge, and expertise. Is there anything else you wanted to add to that? I know you are really on the cutting edge. All right, talk to me about nutrient signaling dysfunction, because that's one that obviously has a crosstalk that will create senescence, but also senescence will create that. And it's one that people don't talk a lot about. I mean, these top ones people talk about when it comes to aging, but not a lot of people talk about the proteostatic dysfunction and nutrient signaling dysfunction. So first off, can you help people understand what nutrient signaling dysfunction actually means and what that process happens, or what happens in the body with that?
So let me start adding something to previous topic of mitochondrial health. What nutrient dysfunction? So obviously nutrient dysfunction will be manifested by problems with mitochondrial health. And for like one of very important nutrients is glutathione and nicotinamide, and they're easily replenishable, either taking precursors like NAC or precursors of 4-glutathione or precursors of NAD produced by different companies. But here is a more complex chain where it's not just this endpoint nutrients, but entire chain that leads to the normal absorption, because our times most people are able to get good nutrients through nutrition and taking vitamins and supplements, but the question is how well are they absorbed. So it's now more attention is attracted to difference between plasma level of nutrients and intracellular level of certain nutrients. And it's a very interesting question, because it's relatively easy to check nutrients level in some blood cells, but how does it get into the tissue cells and organ cells? And good example is insulin sensitivity and glucose tolerance. And so insulin is a hormone that is also a peptide by definition, and it affects certain receptors and channels for penetration of carbohydrate into the cell. And the same way other nutrient related mechanisms, how nutrients get into our cells working. And so many vitamins serve as a cofactors of this process. Some frequently one electrolyte or one element needs the presence of another to be appropriately absorbed and to be included in the biochemical reactions. So let's get to simple things. So nutrient dysfunction. The level of clinical level, if someone, let's say, has problems with his or her liver, fatty liver, for example, leaky gut or gastritis or some problem with some hematological problems, some anemia. All conditions, obviously, anemia leads to, like iron deficient anemia leads to difficulties in delivering oxygen to the cells, and with all related secondary reactions, lack of oxygen causes changes toward acidosis. Acidotic changes lead to lack of insulin sensitivity, high glucose tolerance, eventually to metabolic syndrome. The same way, liver problems lead to lack of or disturbance in bile production or delivery into intestine, and then the whole process of lipid metabolism, the metabolism gets affected, and then it leads to, in simple terms, oversimplified, to lipid deposition in the endothelium. And of course, if someone already has chronic kidney disease, more lipid deposition in already compromised glomerular vessels will lead to even worse glomerular filtration. So that's how one thing leads to another. So don't disregard anything. High bilirubin, fatty liver, they all affect kidney eventually. We talk about kidney. So I'm focused on kidney because our topic is we have to remember to correlation between each topic and kidney, and also because it's a good illustration of how one organ affects another and how the related systems are. So for nutrient dysfunction, it's a good idea to check your nutrients level, vitamins level in the plasma, and as much as possible to get a correlation with cellular level of nutrients. Then many people find interesting things there because there is a mismatch, because plasma level that can be normal or higher than normal, and intracellular level of nutrients that I think would be advice for actionable knowledge that will help people improve their health. And when they see mismatch, then analyze why this mismatch happened and try to cure the conditions, processes that were leading to this mismatch.
Yeah, no, that's such a good way of putting it. So, you know, and it's hard because all the blood testing, if you go to your general practitioner, they're all going to do blood tests. You really need a functional practitioner to be able to know how to do plasma testing. And of course, is what Dr. Grinberg's talking about, is if there's a discrepancy between plasma, blood, or intracellular nutrient levels, there's something happening in the transport mechanisms to get stuff inside the cells, which will give you a clue about what's going on with your health. So that's what comes down to nutrient dysfunction, and whether we need to look at different areas to help certain nutrients cross into certain membranes or into plasma, or whether the levels are too high. So I think that's, you know, most testing is very inaccurate when it comes to looking at basic mineral nutrient levels in kidney disease. At least that's definitely something I find. So always trying to do different types of tests. So thank you for your expertise. If anyone wants to contact Dr. Grinberg and work with him one-on-one, whether it be kidney disease, especially integrating peptide medicine into your regime. I know I've used him personally for that. I'll put Dr. Grinberg's details below. He works out of San Francisco and is available to do telehealth and Skype consults with people all around the country. So, and as well in different countries, because he's working with some of my cancer patients. So again, Dr. Grinberg, thank you so much for your knowledge and expertise. It is always a privilege and an honor to have someone as esteemed as you on our channel sharing your wealth of information. If you want to know more about what we do, head to www.kidneycoach.com. You'll find us on Instagram and Facebook under the same name. Remember to hit subscribe and like. That way you will be notified anytime we put up new videos. And if there's any topic that you want Dr. Grinberg to talk about, or if you have any questions about this podcast, please put them in the notes below and we will be sure to answer them. Thanks again for being part of our community. Dr. Grinberg, thank you again for your time, and I look forward to seeing you all next time. Bye.